into the rift. Some pretty spicy... Oh, my days. No, what? Scothotch?
Yeah, at
Well,
least
what has
he's
it
not
done?
jumping off the rift.
Is he got a noise? I'm worried. Why?
Did we just have our producer quack in our ears?
Yes, we
Or
did.
did this go on broadcast?
No, I don't know. Did the audience hear my producer go quack, quack, like really high pitch? Pascal, what were you doing? Call him out by name. You find him. You find out. As always, production smurfing.
Welcome to MNM versus Dusty, Game 4, Week 1, Day 1 of the NLC. We have one more to go after these, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else. So hold on tight, because there's two fanatic bushes being built up on the rift right now.
Absolutely. Oh my case, we're
Oh,
going
it's
to see them.
continuing.
Both the 5-man stacks are happening. They're going to clash. Oh my days. They all know that Michigan's going to be left alone. He's not there. It's a 4v5 right now. Massive turnaround knock-up though. What is that apprehend? Shredder going to be taken out by the Ignite, but not taken down. Now Kerberos trying to back away. Needs to escape a bit more damage coming back. No one dies, but my days. A lot of damage going across, and level 1 is already getting a little spicy.
Yeah, that's a pretty typical level 1 when you have Kerberos in your team, I guess. And I'm going to go back to what the desk was saying. Kerberos is running the Flash and Ghost. It is so difficult for Darius to play fights and team fights later on, to run down their opponents in a very long lane, such as top lane, without having the Ghost available to them. Now, Caleb cannot, unfortunately, run the Ghost with the Flash, which means that once he's flashed, he's very prominent to actually being chased down by the Darius right there. Now, one thing that I was really sad about is the fact that Soraka didn't go mid.
You were wondering about that, yeah.
I would have liked to see the Soraka mid and the Veigar bot, because the Veigar can actually stop Samira and Alistar from dashing in, which would have kept this bot lane a lot more safe, right? And then Soraka can also chase around Galio the same way you chase around the Twisted Fate when they're on vision, when he's about to ult summer, pop the silence, stop them dead in their tracks. But I'm assuming this will also work later on. You put Soraka onto the bot side of the map. Talking about the bot side of the map, 2 summoners already gone. Actually, 3 summoners already
Indeed,
gone.
Shredder did burn the flash. It was in trade for the heal from Voxney and the ignite from Stem, but they've both got those defensive movement summoners available. Camera had to start the Idol of Durand as well, that taunt from Galio, so not the best start, not given the easiest shove that we normally have. Linkas, though, coming in as a little bit of a mechanical prodigy in the jungle, all things said and done. A lot of good things I've heard about this play. Came over from playing in Maus, over in the Prime League. Didn't get as far as they were hoping with the roster they had, but is now here on this Dusty lineup that there are quite a lot of expectations around. Kerberos is back. Voxney is back. Linkas, this kind of superstar, is back. You know, looking to see what they can do.
And let's not forget that Dusty, as a team, made it all the way to the playoffs and only lost to Bifrost at the very last hurdle before they made EU Masters. Bifrost stops them dead in their tracks. So the playoffs run, last split, absolutely miraculously great. Can they keep up the expectations?
Flash, apprehend. Caleb flashes the smoke screen in turn, but
That's
flash
it.
for flash.
Look
Still
at the
Ghost available.
Look at the lane.
Ugh.
Caleb really needs to crush this wave, but Linkas is around. He's just lost his flash, which means that Kerberos, once he presses that other summon that he has, can actually run Caleb down. Needs Soft to come around, even have to even show himself if he needs to help Caleb and crush this wave. Linkas will stay around as well.
Just Soft hovering here, trying to prevent an easy all-in. Still going to land that Decimate. Here comes Soft, throws down the harrowed path. Don't get anything more, though. Just allowing that crash to happen, and does so. The Spectral Maw also going wide. That'll be that for that, but that is an early back forced out of the top lane, which is not what they wanted to see. I don't think it'll be anything like a Sheen money right now, which is a bit of a frustration, I am sure. Still, left ourselves with an early game that's been close to full action, but no one has fallen yet. It's just been summoners that have gone.
And I was about to say, Caleb also needs to TP here because Kerberos will want to reset the lane the way he wants it, so it's actually solving towards him. Which is actually solving towards Caleb. So for Caleb to fix his lane, he has to TP back, meaning that right now he's summonerless. Once Kerberos comes back with the Ghost available, Graves is going to be passing towards the top side of the map as well, because right now he's clearing his bot quadrant. So expect to see a bunch of action happening towards the top side of the map, especially because Caleb is missing his summoner spell.
Got to keep our eyes on when Camera hits 6 well. He had a pretty fantastic time for the most of Division 2 last bit as well. He's playing on Monster Rugby Gaming. When we were chatting about Merbs earlier on, on the day, Camera was the mid laner there who was also doing pretty exceptional things on stuff like this Galio, and he and Soft played together way back on Resolve as well, so that's a duo that's kind of rejoining here and looking to take this organization a little bit beyond. As everyone coming up.
Man, shadow from the side of MNM right here. Caleb is alive and
the slows. He's going to throw on the ghost, but the slow's kind of on. I don't think there's anywhere for Kerberos to go. He's going to try and sidestep it. He'll get a little bit of an apprehend, but first blood still goes the way of Camera. 4 men come top and 1 Kerberos falls.
I think that was a little bit greedy right there from Kerberos. He had the chance to back. Yes, the lane would not be at the best place possible, but your Graves is pathing towards the top side of the map. Worst case scenario, your wave has been frozen, you call your Graves top side, you reset the wave, it slow pushes towards you and bounces back. So I think that Kerberos was a little bit greedy right there, gets punished instantly. MNM lose nothing for this, even though their Alistar completely left bot lane because you have a Soraka. So your Samira is just actually not threatened at all. So really well played right there from MNM, punishing that early game aggression from Kerberos and taking his ghost down, which is very crucial for Caleb to be able to play that lane.
Indeed, and all the while, nothing much more has happened, of course, aside from MNM managing to punish Kerberos nice and early. Still, we're waiting to see how this game kind of comes on, because both these comps are very different. You've got the kind of Samira plus Alistar plus Galio jump in on people and try and blow them up. On the other side, quite a lot of ways to punish people diving in on, plus Linkas, who kind of needs to get way ahead on this Graves to be a proper damage threat. Otherwise, you're going to run out of damage if you're not careful.
Chimera has been actually everywhere, and I think right here they're setting up for a dive. There are flashes on both the bot laners from Dustin. I think they have actually smelled this from super far away, and they're going to be backing off of that tower. There are no teleports. Stender's going back.
Yeah, going to try and flash that one out. In comes the Galio with the heroic entrance. Michiku is chunked out, but doesn't fall. Of course, there's no real way to come and chase it. Backland will come down, and Soft has to flash out of the enemy jungle.
Yeah, I mean, I think MNM had the right idea right there. Chimera so far has been all over the map. MNM is actually moving everywhere. They're trying to create opportunities. They have the Michigo onto the Samir. Once you get her ahead, she's going to be one-shotting people later on. She's the better iteration of what I wished Katarina would be when she starts spinning.
She's even got the high noon skin.
Exactly. And I feel like Chimera onto this Galio has been so impactful in the early game. He's been shoving in waves. He's going towards the top side of the map. He's going towards the bottom side of the map. So far, it has resulted only in 1 kill that has ended up in his pocket. But if you look on the other side, what are you losing out on? Because that Veigar is going to be one-shotting people later on. You only have very squishy members on your team except for the Alistar. So once this Veigar is well and truly fed with all the CS and experience that's been so
refarmed, yeah.
And he's going to be a big problem for MNM.
Indeed. Level 6, as we said, have come through. We've seen the use of them already slightly towards that bot side. You've heard Trouble just say, look, Camera's been really active, but it's only really led to 1 kill thus far, and a pretty big discrepancy in the CS. It's only led to about a 300 gold lead, and you need to see a lot more than that unless this Veigar starts to get to a truly terrifying point. Of course, with that ultimate still down, still going to be MNM starting up the Herald despite not having that heroic entrance. Curious now to see whether Dusty will want to come and contest. Does not look like it from where we're at right now.
I'm just a huge fan of Galio in general right here. It works so well to be able to zone away choke points, especially since you don't have any vision. And I feel like MNM have read the play from the start really, really well. They're like, Kerberos is going to play very aggressive. They made sure that they put 4 members up the tops of the map, punish Kerberos, take his ghost, make sure that Caleb is actually safe. Safe? There's like 4 wards towards the top side of the map, 5 wards towards the top side of the map. There is no way that this Graves can actually sneak in to try and shut down Caleb without MNM seeing him. And even if they do see him, Chimera is just so mobile through the entire map this whole time that he will be there to try and help with the hero's entrance.
Indeed. And of course, you've still got to see how it all plays out, because Kerberos was pretty notorious across his time in the NLC for, you know, getting the first ever pentakill in the league, smashing solo go records until MNS came in.
We need to make sure that he's not on Kerberos' int account.
Ah, yes, we did hear about that.
About this, yes.
That was on things like the Queen. I suppose potentially this Darius might count on that front, so have to see how he continues to play. Of course, died just the once so far. Gonna try and continue to play this one out best they can. The early dragon being started up by Dusty as it stands, as Kerb comes down towards this mid lane to shadow and make sure nothing has gonna happen there, as of course we did see the likes of the lack of teleport, of course, in the summoner choices, as explained, because the ghost is pretty useful to try and punish the gangplank, but it means, you know, being able to move to players requires a little bit more forethought. There we go.
I mean, I think that if this Darius does not snowball in the early game, it's going to be really difficult to play the team fights later on. Yes, you're going to pop your Ghost. Yes, you're going to pop your Flash. You get onto Michigu, you get bonked away by the Alistar. You get taunted by Chimera's Galio.
You hit a Spectral more, there's a Cannon Barrage, yeah.
So there's like so many ways to actually keep that Darius at bay. But unless MNM actually run into Dusty and Darius gets to free hit, then it's going to be really difficult for Kerberos to actually be relevant in these team fights. But due to the fact that Dusty's composition in general has been around peeling and kiting backwards, then yes, maybe Kerberos can get a lot of value out of a bunch of melee players playing into him and running into him, because that's exactly what also Samira wants to do. At some point, she goes melee and starts spinning.
Some very interesting play patterns to sort of theorize to see how it all plays out, because who dives first, who ends up with the team fight first, can end up in a bit of a difficult position because of the counter moves that both sides have got. You know, Wish comes out, you suddenly throw down a cage, you've dived too deep on the Samira and you get blown up, but then there's a Galio well and a Cannon Barrage coming out and try and save them. I mean, like all of those little back and forth options and the
look at Kerberos.
Oh, he's hiding in that bush and Caleb walks away.
Caleb might actually have to go the long way around, which means that, which means that he will lose experience of at least 2 minions right there. There's no way you walk around that point, because Kerberos made sure to guard it really well. He has Flash, he has Ghost, that means that the Gangplank would be run down. Unfortunate by Caleb, loses 2 minutes of experience and gold, but fortunately for him, he's already 20 CS up. He's already 1 level up onto Kerberos, so losing on 2 minions is not going to be the end of the world.
Absolutely doing his best to make sure this Darius pick is not gonna get rolling, and thus far doing just fine at that. Feeling pretty content with it as does, but of course all the while Backlund, the one remaining player from last split. Dusty switched on every other member but Backlund, a player honestly we had some question marks about. Is doing very well in this game, lands a lot of damage here, is already up an exceptional amount of CS. He's at 128 stacks of phenomenal evil power. What a name for stacks.
Is this what it's actually called?
Phenomenal evil power.
Yeah, I thought you thought of that.
No, phenomenal evil.
Perfect.
There you go. I know that. There's a lot of random bits of League trivia, I know.
Kerberos is actually proxy.
Oh, so... Cab! We've missed you, my man.
Welcome back to the NLC, Kerberos. Of course, here, MNM will use the Rift Herald towards the bot side of the map, get a bunch of money onto Michigu's pocket right there. Again, there is not much hard engage other than the Nautilus creating some opportunities with the ultimate, with the anchor connecting right there. You do not have much hard engage. So for MNM to be able to take all these plates and give all this gold to Samir is going to be very good.
Little shout out here as well. Okay. Michigu used the Blade Well to prevent the damage that would kill the Herald before it charged as well. Just a little thing there is like, that's really nice, because they'd use the cages to try and stall the Herald. Couldn't quite secure the kill, partly because of that Blade Well, I believe, if my eyes don't deceive me, which is always a possibility.
Also, coming out of the base, a lot of items have just been completed for Dusty as well. You see that we have Eclipse, Everfrost, and most importantly, the Moonstone. And why I mentioned the Moonstone onto the Soraka is that because a lot of people are like, oh, Soraka, yeah, he's healing a lot. Just get anti-healing, just get Ignite, just get Grievous Wounds, it's fine. Well, a lot of people forget that her ultimate, Wish, removes Grievous Wounds before the heal applies. So that first R into W that Soraka provides together with Summoner Heal is going to be, if not the entire HP bar, a huge chunk that you can bait people in. And since you're playing with this kiting composition, allowing someone to fall low, pull back into defensive lines, and then give them that boost of HP can bait members from MNM into a very unfavorable fight.
Really great for Darius as well, who loves to play with that healing from the Decimate. You know, like, if you can remove the Grievous Wounds, so he heals even more, as Backlund has to flash out of that Everfrost and Taunt. Gets out, but does have to trade that Summoner spell and is now a little more vulnerable.
Again, very well played by Chimera. I've really liked his movement onto that Galio. I've really liked his impact onto the map right now. The only thing that remains to be seen is how MNM are going to use that Galio to take control and advantage of the map, because I feel like Chimera might have to flash here.
He's gonna try and do his best, as that is a very dead Galio. And at the moment we praise him, he falls down in the mid lane.
said he might have to flash there. He didn't feel like it was necessary, so he ends up going down. This is what happens when you play against the Cage and, of course, the Nautilus, right? If the CC is landed properly, you will not get to move at all, and therefore Dusty are going to be going for their second Dragon of the game.
Indeed, they are. See whether they'll try and steal soft, just backing away, though. It'll be a thrown-out flare from across the wall. That's about it. Speaking of, though, we've got ourselves a little bit of a new toy to play with, Trouble. We've got ourselves a tablet with some
Which one am I
interesting
pressing?
buttons.
Which one am I
Press a
pressing?
button. Pick one.
Okay.
Bring it up.
Okay.
And see whether
What
it
is
comes up. I don't know.
I didn't press it correctly.
Oh, you didn't press it correctly. There you go. Woo! Hashtag NLC at home. Look at that. Look at that beautiful way of people watching at home. Bifrost, Mitchell, of course. Look up with the boys and the Bifrost shoes. Even got the shoes on one of the Bifrost.
Wait, it actually says Bifrost on them. Holy, okay.
Like actual
Okay,
Bifrost branded shoes.
Please hook me up because I really like this.
That's incredible.
Hook me up. Just DM me on Twitter.
You look there.
Tell me where you got them from.
Indeed. Throw out that hashtag, guys. Show us some more about how you're watching at home. Thank you very much for that particular one. I am impressed they've actually got own branded shoes.
Right?
That is impressive work. I don't know whether we should be like advertising for them like that, but I've done it anyway now.
Yes, exactly. I mean, it's on the screen.
Right? I appreciate the hustle. Well done, Bifrost. Still, we've got ourselves a game now, which is still very even. A few hundred gold in the favor of MNM, but the two dragons are in the favor of Dusty. And yes, the galley was roamed, but hasn't really found much that's really succeeded out of that first roam. And it has left that Veigar to scale and get a kill back. He's got it punched into a wall, but has got an Everfrost to prevent a further engage.
Question mark ping?
You okay there?
Question mark ping? Question mark ping?
Yes. That is probably the best vocalization of like a hesitant question mark. It's like, quick question mark. What's going on there? Caleb flashing away there as the stacks were starting to come up from the side of Darius as Sten spins to try and get out there. Sorry, the Mishigu spins on Sten to try and get a hold of them, but even with the S rank flare, doesn't quite have the damage to finish off the Nautilus.
So, just to go back to our initial checklist, when we entered the game, we said Kerberos, he needs to snowball on the top side of the map, plays with a flash and ghost, he needs to be aggressive towards Caleb. Caleb has not died. Yes, I'm just seeing that his flash was just forced, and Linkus
gonna have to flash out of that Everfrost and does burn the summoner alongside that smite, but of course that's on a slightly shorter cooldown as a summoner spell. Bot side though, turret does finally fall.
Back to the checklist.
Indeed.
Calem's flash was just blown.
Indeed.
Kerberos didn't blow any summoner,
no.
so there must have been a fight towards the top side of the map that Caleb wanted to get away from.
He did indeed.
But
because the stacks were coming up from the side of Darius and he had to get out of them.
But one level up for Caleb, already scaling onto the gangplank. Gangplank will be much easier to pivot and to pilot, into these fights to come. On the other side, we've had the impact of, Chimera has had a lot of impact in the early game, but hasn't translated into anything massive because they've lost two dragons to Dusty. And on the other side of Dusty, they've got the ever-scaling Graves, Veigar, and Soraka. So if you've got your heal bot that scales massively, you've got your AP damage dealer that deals very consistent AP damage but can also blow you up, who's also ever scaling, and then we all know about Graves scaling into the late game.
Hold on, sorry, did you just say Graves jungle in a positive way? Are you feeling okay, Troubling?
I cannot. I'm ill.
So for reference for those who may not be aware, Georgia here is not a fan of Graves jungle. He's
useless.
But is he? Is he going to be useless in this game?
He's going to get a kill now.
Massive amount of damage, and the explosion comes out of Backland to pick up the second kill for Dusty, and of course both of them are on that Veigar.
Okay, all credit where credit is due. I feel like Graves is the right pick right here because you're not necessarily gonna get challenged by a Viego at all. You're gonna be free farming the entire time. It's not like Galio's gonna start suddenly invading you because Veigar clears the wave really quickly so he can actually get into the jungle. You've got the cage so the Graves can play freely into teamfights, moving far forward, playing around the cage of your own teammate. And then on top of all that, even if you fall low, you've got the heal bot on Soraka that can provide you with silences and a bunch of heals. So yes, if you need that AD consistent damage, I think something like a Kindred or a Graves right here would be so helpful for you. So yes, I do despise when I see Graves in my solo queue games because I play Katarina and I do like my ganking junglers. But when it comes to competitive, I
hate that. Now it all comes out. There's the selfish line.
You heard it once and that's it. I'm not going to mention it again.
All the while, you have to point out, Backlund is increasingly getting fed up that 50 CS, 2 kills, death cap completed.
That is a fat Vega.
That is a very scary, tiny Master of Evil.
Wait,
He's going to have a Herald dropped in mid.
Called him tiny.
Top side, Kerberos dueling out with Caleb. Just deletes him! Decimates! Plus a Noxian Guillotine secures that one. And Camera's got his own stacks to worry about now. Oh my lord! Not quite enough to finish off the kill, but he'll get it in the 1v2, and Kerberos solo kills in. Not quite an MNS's fight, but it's glad to see we've got some bloodshed happening.
That must have been why Caleb flashed off screen right there, because he didn't want to get that treatment. Caleb felt safe knowing Chimera is going towards the top side of the map and the hero's entrance would be available. Little did he know, Trinity forced Darius onto the hands of Kerberos, absolutely smashes through any shields and resistances that are going to be coming through. So yeah, when it comes to the side lane, you can actually keep Darius in the side lane. You do not care, like grouping him up with the other 4 core members, because they're going to be more than fine without you. And if Kerberos can do that on a side lane, 1 versus 2, then yes, it's going to become very problematic and they're going to have to find a way to deal with it. Pops the ghost right here, is going to get onto Caleb. He waits for the
The stacks?
Thank you for the stacks. Not the stacks, it's the shield from the, the runes.
Bone plating?
Bone plating, thank you so much. Wait for the bone plating.
I thought you were like, waiting for the stacks to come up on Darius.
No, waiting for the bone plating to come off to continue with the burst from the ultimates once all the stacks have been applied, right? So really well played right there from Kerberos. Almost gets the 2 kills right there, having Chimera to flash away from him, which means that flash taunt is gonna not be a factor in the next fights to come for that Galio.
I really want to keep an eye on Backlund CS as well, because that's continuing to increase. There is a very real Flame Horizon possibility coming up in the next 5 minutes or so.
21 minutes, 245 CS?
That is an extraordinary farm rate. We saw some pretty good stuff from Merbs earlier on the Xayah, but that is another level right now from Backlund, who is absolutely power farming. And of course, you've got a Soraka who needs less farms, kind of got to that 1.5 item point, and you can kind of trade a little bit more of that farm into your Veigar's back pocket. MNM, though, will try and siege into this mid lane. Kerberos gets chunked, but of course has the Soraka behind. Astral Infusion coming through, doing their best to keep it alive. Shredder taken so down low, has to back away. The dredge line now misses. Soft at the back end of this Predator's been popped. Barrels come out, and they will extricate themselves from danger. Mid lane turret secured. But oh my day, Shredder definitely had to flash out of that one real quick. Mid lane turret also traded out.
So now you know the Galio doesn't have flash and the Alistar doesn't have flash. So all of these surprise wombo combos that these 2 champions can actually pull to maybe catch Soraka or the Veigar off guard are completely off the table, which allows then Dusty to move forward and take that mid lane vision down by taking the tower. So far, so good from Dusty. They've made sure that the Veigar is always on a safe lane, trying to farm up, has 2 items, including Death Cap, is gonna go back, trying to farm towards that Seraph's as well. And then you also have then Voxney onto the Soraka, who has been farming, has the 2 crucial items right now. Now that Voxney can actually group up and give all of the farm to Linkus or Buckland whilst he's just hovering behind them.
2 CS away from a Flame Horizon right now is this Veigar. We got ourselves a bit of a contest around this red side jungle. Hook lands in, but there's Soft at the back end. Doesn't really land all that much. Big cage as well. So much damage coming through. They're going to try and turn it around though. But the headbutt out of the Galio ultimate allows a kill and a reset. And Kerberos gets the double. The dunks are just coming straight through and they ain't stopping. That's 3 dead already. He's going to continue to chase down. The Ghost still running. Silenced by the Equinox. Goes down. Linkas gets that one. And Dusty destroy that team fight.
It's Baron time, baby. I did not see a single Dusty member drop below 80% HP in a fight that MNM chose to engage. This is how powerful and potent this composition is by Dusty that they have actually drafted. No one goes through that choke point. Whoever overextends has no chance. So very well played right here, from coaching staff to draft to actual execution onto the Rift to be able to pull this off.
And at 23 minutes, 50 seconds, we have a Flame Horizon. Backlund gets the Baron. He'll get a hold of this top lane tower as well. And Dusty are an extraordinary amount ahead at this point. This Darius was supposed to be hard to execute in team fights. Feeling pretty good right now. We've got a replay though, because initially I thought Soft at the back end of this should have been able to turn it around. That cage though, holy moly.
Yeah, Soft face checks the cage, then Shredder, we mentioned he doesn't have flash to try and reach the backline, so the Galio ultimate actually reaches the backline, and once Galio has been dispatched off, Alistair has been dispatched off, then there's no one there to actually stop Kerberos from getting into the backline, and that's exactly what he did.
And at that point, it is lights out. The Noxian Guillotine collects a lot of heads. 3-1 and 2 now is this Darius. 2-0-2 with a vast discrepancy, as already stated by Batman, who's picked up a Medjai's Soul Stealer. He is 2 items ahead of Chimera right now. And this game is already well and truly out of hand. You can see it on the momentum meter as well. Our analysts in the back of the green room also agree. And MNM, they've got to try and find something right now. I just don't know what they can do. Kerberos has taken jack all damage. The Noxian Guillotine comes swinging down again. Denvoxy goes right back to full HP, having thrown out a wish. Soft just can't make it work. The cage is there. Backlund's on a killing spree. And Michigu needs to run away as Backlund with a Predator brings down the Dark Matter. Not quite enough to secure the kill quite yet, but Curb ain't done. The Apprehend comes through, and the long arm of the Noxian Law shows that might is right in League of Legends.
And I know that details do not matter, but then Voxney played this so well. He waited until the last minute, right before Redemption drops, to remove his grievous wounds with his ultimate, and then have Redemption right on top, which means his entire HP bar was completely intact after going down to 20%. And this is the power of bait and Soraka.
That's what you talk about. It's an Elden Ring boss. You've got a second phase to go through with all these abilities. Linkcast deletes the Gangplank as well. Kalem straight back to Grayscreen for the 3rd time this game. 11-1 in kills, and Dusty have emphatically taken control of this game. They've got a soul to go back to should they so wish, and it looks like they will take that opportunity. A monstrous Baron power play from the side of Dusty.
And very respectful as well right there. I expected Dusty to completely run the game to try and finish it right there, but you see, very good flash right there by Chimera. They're trying to get onto Denvox, and look how low they do end up getting, like 20% HP, and then he'll pop the Wish together with the Redemption. Grievous wounds instantly removed means you get 100% of that heal that you pop onto yourself. The R and the Redemption, really good stuff right there, honestly, from Denvox. Very well handled.
They have tried their best so far, but this game is so far out of control. There's a soul. There is a top side of the map that is just extraordinarily fed. Who needs an AD carry when you just get to this point where your front line is less than paper? They are just there on the chopping block, waiting for a Noxian Guillotine to come down and chop him into bite-sized chunks. Shredder gonna get caught again, and it is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Shredder never wins. We've all seen the cartoons, and he'll die again. Top lane tier 2 falls down. And it is just a matter of putting the dots on the I's, crossing the T's. A last gas from MNM's all they've got left.
Talking about T's, this is completely textbook. They want to get every single inhibitor tower before they're going to be finishing the game, because the only thing that remains is these 2 Nexus towers. But right now, there are no waves available for the side of Dusty. There are no objectives. They have to wait for mid lane wave, and they have to wait for bot lane wave.
They're just hanging around right now. Backlund at 4-0-4. Enemy chances just not found. In comes the wave, and MNM, they are going to have a last gasp at the Alamo. Can they hold on? I just don't think it's possible.
Chimera just used his dash. He cannot go back in.
Redder is going to try and get to the backside, but it's just too little, too late. The Noxian Guillotine beginning to spin up once more, and it is an execution, a factory, a meat grinder. And Dusty are going to put this game to bed in a second. It's the long, long sleep of death that awaits MNM. First game of the season has been an absolute bloodbath in favor of Dusty. It was quiet early, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, the mid-games comes round, and Kerberos' Darius, Backlund's Veigar, just unleashed.
You know what? This was almost